fairness and integrity, that every decision we make may serve the best interests of the people. Lord, we also ask for your divine protection. Keep us safe from harm and shield our families, offices, and communities from natural calamities. Surround us with your loving care and strengthen our faith amid uncertainty. We entrust this day and our work to you, O Lord. This we ask in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, good morning. We have a co-credit conference for contract ID number 2586-063, construction of school health facilities in Agusan del Sur National High School, Middle School, Agusan del Sur. Approved budget contract is 3,080,000. Contract duration is 150 calendar days. Second is contract ID number 25GMC-0011. Procurement of security services for 14 personnel for the DPWH Agusan del Sur second engineering office in Karaos, San Francisco, Agusan, Karaos, Summary School, and Subcamp at Trento and San Josefa, Agusan del Sur for 1 year. Fiscal year February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2027. Approved budget contract is 3,965,553 pesos and 20,000 dollars. Contract duration is will be on February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2027. The third is the PNMC quotation. Procure number 02511 Industry Tool. Procurement of bow t-shirt for use in DPWH second Agusan del Sur for 2025. The approved budget is 19,950 pesos. The proceed is let's check first the attendance if the bank is approved.
Maayong buntag. Our attendance for today's pre-bid conference. Our BOC chairperson, Engineer Willie R. Visaya.
Present.
Our BOC vice chairperson, Engineer Yuricario M. Mazo. Engineer Manuel C. Nario, BOC regular member.
Present.
Jovelinda L. Anto, BOC regular member. On live. Engineer Rodel A. Ridao, BOC professional member.
Present.
Our BOC secretariat, Engineer Telma C. Espeso, head BOC secretariat. Engineer Alec Madeleine C. Abocado. On leave, Miss Edna Corato, Miss Gloria L. Duga, Miss Glyza N. Abdo. Our BOC DPWH members, Engineer Benty N. Galjano, Engineer Marilyn T.P. Onda, Engineer Greta B. Alvarez, Engineer Ronnie F. A. Lucinio, and one of our BOC members, Engineer Elmelin C. Polanco. For contract ID number 25GNC0011, we have Zani S. Zabala from Visa, Don T. Manon from Visa, Dennis N. Saberon from Visa, Miss Florilyn C. Moreno, Mr. Harvey Anthony Anchampo. Via Zoom, Sir Gideon Bahian, Arjim Security Services Incorporated, Icolan, Davao City. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you for the attendance. Since the back is in quorum, let us proceed first, no? Sa petition. Sa petition na lang ako namin. Para magsunod-sunod, no? For PR number 025-1134, comment about this, sir. We open our line here. Okay. Let's proceed for the public conference for contract number 25GN6-11, Procurement of Security Services. 14 personnel for the DPWH Agusan del Sur, Engineering District, Karaos, Sabisco, Subcom of Trento, and Josefa Agusan del Sur for 1 year, fiscal year February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2027. And I proceed Ms. Lorraine Moreno. Okay, you proceed to the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lorraine Moreno, Administrative Officer 2, General Services Officer, and I'll be representative for the pre-bid conference of 25GNC 0011, Procurement of the Security Services of 14 personnel for the DPWH Agusan del Sur 2nd District Engineering Office in Karaos, San Francisco, and subcamps at Trento and Josefa Agusan del Sur for 1 year, fiscal year February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2027. For the scope of security works, the security service provider shall provide and make available the necessary number of qualified, trained, acceptable licensed, bonded, armed, and uniformed security guards on a 24-hour daily coverage for the DPWH for the purpose of ensuring its security and safety, including properties deposited and stored therein, against loss or damage due to and or caused by theft, pilferage, robbery, and other unlawful acts, as well as DPWH employees and visitors against assault, injury, or harassment by stranger and or third party. The security service provider shall provide the appropriate number of guards for 3 shifts a day. The regular daily tour of duty for each guard shall be 8 hours, and no guard shall be made to render more than 8 hours duty within a 24-hour period, except in cases of extreme necessity and only upon prior written permission of the DPWH. The security service provider shall provide reserve guards, which shall not be less than 5% of the total number of the regular number of guards required. The security service provider shall be liable for any loss, injury, or damage to life, limb, and or property within the DPWH premises and all the contents thereof, with the exception of personal belongings and property when such could have been avoided, prevented, had the security service provider or guard not been negligent and or remiss in the performance of their assigned duties or responsibilities, provided that such loss, injury, or damage shall be reported in writing by the DPWH to the security service provider through any of its guards assigned or with the DPW or the roving supervisor to the extent possible within 48 hours from the time of discovery of such loss, injury, or damage. The security service provider shall at all times maintain peace and order and extend security or protection to the DPWH personnel and visitors within the installations and those on official travel or missions if deemed necessary and thus authorized by DPWH. The deployment of security guards. The office requires 8 guards for the main office in Karaos, 3 guards for the subcamp in Trento, and 3 guards for the subcamp in Santa Josefa. For the provisions and conditions, it is expressly understood and agreed that for all legal intents and purposes, all the guards of the security service provider shall not be considered employees of the DPWH. The security service provider assumes full responsibility for the faithful and complete performance by the security guards. The security service provider shall ensure and guarantee that its security guards shall familiarize themselves with the DPWH's officials and all the installations personnel, and at all times accord to them the highest degree of respect and courtesy. The security service provider shall submit promptly every morning to the DPWH head of security reports of all incidents of loss, injury, or damage to DPWH's property and its personnel that occurred during the previous day, if any. The security service provider shall provide its guards with appropriate firearms and ammunition, licensed to and owned by the security service provider during the guard's tour of duty. The security service provider shall exercise effective administration, control, supervision, and inspection through its roving supervisor to prevent any violation or commission of anomalous acts by the guards, whether on or off duty. The security service provider shall be liable for any willful, intentional, or neglectful act of or omission of such act by the guards resulting in death or injury to the DPWH's personnel or visitors within the service areas. The security service provider shall provide for free at least one complete set of uniform to each guard at the start of the contract as prescribed under Rule 8 of RA 5487 or the implementing rules and regulations governing the organization and operation of private detectives and private agency. The security service provider shall assign only members of the force who are acceptable to the DPWH, its designated head of security and or authorized representative, and the security service provider shall not pull out any security guard from DPWH without the written consent of the latter. The security service provider guarantees that all guards shall follow all regulations, policies, existing and forthcoming, and security plans, including health and safety programs and guidelines of the DPWH to continuously improve their performance, competency, discipline, fitness, and preparedness. The security service provider shall provide the DPWH with a number of guards as stated in the guard deployment and requirement, and any decrease or increase in the number thereof shall require the written approval of the DPWH. The cost of security services is fixed and shall not be adjusted during the duration of the procured services, except when there is an increase in the minimum daily wage pursuant to a new wage order, or in effect of governmental acts, including increase in taxes and the like, issued after the date of bidding, or when the DPWH sees the need for an increase or decrease in the number of guards and or scope of services of the security service provider, provided that funds are sufficient to cover for the increase. The security service provider shall diligently and faithfully serve the best interests of the DPWH in rendering its services, and shall not, during the period of services procured or at any times, use or disclose to any unauthorized person, firm, or entity any classified information concerning the business affairs and operations of the department, which any member of the security force of the security service provider may have acquired by reasons of such contractual relationship. The security service provider shall make certain to hold monthly meetings and information regards at the DPWH ADS 2nd DEO main office grounds. Attendance at the main office in Barangay Karaos shall be monitored using the biometric machine. Guards assigned thereat must be registered with the biometric within 5 days from the deployment or whenever possible. In case of system outage, oversight, or assumption of duty after due authorization of deployment of a reliever who is not regularly assigned to the area, proof of attendance shall be a copy of the guard's logbook for the said day and confirmed by the DPWH head of security. The security service provider guarantees that the salaries of guards detailed at the DPWH shall be paid during the regular working hours and at the installation where the guards are serving every 15th and 30th day of the month. Any repetitive or unjustified delays in the payment of the salaries attributed to the security service provider, or if the guards are not paid the exact amount due to them as reflected in the payroll, shall be sufficient ground for the DPWH to terminate the service contract. Monthly billing collection shall be duly supported by the following documents: the DTR, the sworn certification to be signed by the security service provider's manager, president, or owner, that it has no unpaid wages for services rendered by its employees, and that it has complied with the provisions of existing laws and regulations pertaining to the payment of wages and other benefits, and proof of remittance to SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and PhilHealth. The security service provider guarantees that all employers' share being paid by the DPWH to the security service provider, like the SSS premiums, paid insurance, ECC, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and others, and the corresponding employee shares being deducted are all remitted properly and on time to the concerned agencies, and any unjustified and repetitive delay or non-remittance of these amounts shall be sufficient ground for the DPWH to remit these amounts directly to the concerned government agencies and or terminate the contract. the security service provider shall assign to the DPWH guards shall meet the following qualifications in accordance with Section 3, Rule 5 of the 2003 revised implementing rules and regulations of RA 5487 as amended. Filipino citizen, high school graduate, physically and mentally fit, not less than 21 years of age, nor more than 45 years of age for new applicants and SGs in non-supervisory position, and has undergone a pre-licensing training course or its equivalent. Whenever the DPWH head of security informs the security service provider that any contracted guards in its findings and or opinion is undesirable, the security service provider shall within 24 hours from notice relieve the employee and never again be assigned to DPWH premises mentioned herein or to any other DPWH's installation, and if for any reason which it deems necessary to protect its interest, the DPWH head of security shall request in writing the revamp of the entire security force. The security service provider shall effect the same without additional cost on the part of the DPWH. The DPWH shall have the right to inspect the guards at any time to ensure the proper security of the personnel, materials, and equipment within its premises. Likewise, the head of office and or his authorized representative shall have the authority and prerogative to conduct inspection and impose disciplinary actions for any violation committed by the security service provider guards. Inspection by the DPWH shall not relieve the security service provider from full responsibility for any inadequate security and protection of its personnel, premises, and the contents thereof. The security service provider shall be mindful of the offenses as well as penalties as may be imposed by the Director General of the PNP as provided for under Rule 12 Administrative Sanctions of RA 5487 as amended, and disciplinary actions that may be imposed on individual hearing guard. The DPWH head of security, and in its desire to instill discipline, improve fitness, and professionalism among the security guards, may impose reasonable penalties supplementing and or independent of the offenses and penalties as provided for under the aforementioned law. The DPWH shall notify the security service provider of the penalties provided for violations of the security guards in particular and the security service provider in general. It is expressly understood herein that the relationship of a security service provider with the DPWH is based purely on the trust and confidence of the latter to the former, and that the DPWH have the right to terminate the contract in case of loss of said trust and confidence in the security service provider upon 30 days prior written notice to the security service provider of the grounds stipulated in the contract. The security service provider shall supply the required number of recording supplies essential for the guard within 5 working days from the contract's effective date. Record book with page number size 8.5 inches, 11 inches, 500 pages, 34 pieces. 14 boxes of ballpoint pen, black, 12 pieces. This supply shall be used for record keeping and shall be distributed or issued to the guards at the guardhouse. The eligibility documents required. The certificate of registration from SEC, DTI for sole proprietorship, or CDA for cooperatives or its equivalent documents. The mayor's business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. Tax clearance for EO number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the BIR, and the prospective bidder's audited financial statements showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities, stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar days, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Other appropriate licenses and permits. Note that non-submission during the opening of bid shall not render the bid non-responsive but shall be ground for disqualification during post-qualification. Valid license to operate a security agency from the PNP, capability and experience of the agency, plan of operation and methodology, certificate of good payment standing from SSS Pag-ibig and PhilHealth, or proof of remittance to SSS Pag-ibig and PhilHealth for the past 6 months, valid proof of membership in national and local association of security agencies, the DOLE certification of bidders' compliance with existing labor laws, certification from NLRC indicating that the bidder has no pending or ongoing case, list of firearms, ammunition, radio, and metal detectors with corresponding serial numbers and valid licenses, affidavit of site inspection and area of security survey. The approved budget for the contract is 3,965,553 pesos and 22 cents. The factors that that are considered in the cost computation are: the number of security personnel is 4, the number of work hours per day is 8 hours, number of work days per week is 7 days from Monday to Sunday, the number of shifts is 3. The references used is the weight R, the wage order number, R13-19, the Workers' Statutory Monetary Benefits Handbook. The most recent one is the 2024 edition, the PADPA rate computation, the applicable GPPB resolutions, and the DPWH DOs, applicable DPWH DO. The latest contribution schedule for SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. For the bidding documents, we are using the bidding documents as prescribed by RA 9184. The invitation to bid. The Department of Public Works and Highways, through its Bids and Awards Committee through the GAA 2025, intends to apply the sum of 3,965,553 pesos and 22 cents as the approved budget for the contract to payments under the contract 25 GNC 0011 for the contract name already mentioned, and for the ABC already mentioned. The contract duration is February 1, 2026 to January 31, 2027, and the bid documents fee is 5,000. Bids in excess of the ABC for each lot shall be automatically rejected. The DPWH, through its back, now invites bids for the aforementioned project. Delivery of the goods, duration of the services is required for 12 months. Bidders should have completed within 5 years from the date of submission the receipt of bids a contract similar to the project. The description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2, Instruction to Bidders. The bidding will be conducted through the open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. The bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens for proprietorships, partnerships, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines and to citizens or organizations of a country, the laws of or regulations of which grant similar rights or privilege to Filipino citizens pursuant to RA 5184. Prospective bidders may obtain further information from the BAC Secretariat and inspect the bidding documents at the address given below during Monday to Friday at 8 to 5 p.m. A complete set of the bidding documents may be acquired by the interested bidders on November 27 until before 1 p.m. of December 18, 2025 from the given address and website below, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount of 5,000. The procuring entity shall allow the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees in person or facsimile. The DPWH, through its back, shall hold a pre-bid conference today, 10 a.m. at the DPWH Procurement Office conference room. It is live streamed on YouTube on DPWH Agusan del Sur and DEO Procurement LS, which shall be open to prospective bidders. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the DPWH Office Procurement Unit at the BAC Conference Room, San Francisco, Agusan del Sur, on or before December 18, 2025, 1 p.m. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in the invitation to bid clause 14. Bid opening shall be on December 18, 2025, immediately after the deadline for the submission of the bid at the DPWH Procurement Office. And it will be live streamed on YouTube on the DPWH ADS and DEO Procurement LS page. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representative who choose to attend the activity. The DPWH, through its back, reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare failure of bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to the contract award in accordance with sections 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of 9184. For further information, please refer to the back chairperson, Engineer Wilfred R. Bisaya, and the address and telephone number indicated, and the back secretariat head, Engineer Telma S. Espeso. The date of publication is from November 27 to December 3, 2025 at the DPWH website and on field jobs. The bid data sheet. For the purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be contract providing security services, and 2, completed within 5 years prior to the deadline of the submission and receipt of bids. Subcontracting is not allowed. The price of the goods or services shall be based on the current market prices and minimum wage orders and other relevant law. The bid security shall be in the form of bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amount. The amount of not less than 79,311 pesos and 6 cents or 2% of the ABC if the bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit, or the amount of not less than 198,277 pesos and 66 cents or 5% of the ABC if the bid security is in surety bond. Bidders shall submit a proposal, evaluation, and contract award will be undertaken as one contract within a non-extendable period of 5 calendar days from the receipt of the bidder of the notice from the back that it has submitted it is considered as the lowest calculated bid. The bidder must submit the following documents, those documents that were mentioned during the portion of the eligibility documents report. And here are the forms for the technical and financial documents. These are all in the bidding documents published in the field jobs and the DPWH website. For the procurement schedule, we will start with the pre-bid conference on today, December 5, 2025. The advertisement of the bid was on December 27 up until December 3. The issuance of the bidding documents on November 27 to December 18. The receipt and opening of the bids will be on December 18. The eligibility check on December 18. The evaluation of bids on December 19. The post-qualification on December 22 to 23. The awarding of the contract on December 29. The perfection and signing of the contract on December 30 to January 5. The approval of the contract on January 6, 2026 to January 7, 2026, and the notice to proceed on January 8, and the contract will take effect on February 1, 2026. That's all.
Thank you. Any question from the visitors? Ready?
May question ko kasi.
May question from Agusan.
Tanan siya o nag-allow ba tag discount?
Titiks lang dia. So, during the bidding, no?
Yes.
Ano ba na?
Do you allow discount and agency fee or admin fee must be 20%?
20% only.
20% yung limit.
50% ang gamit na po. Presentations.
Okay. Okay, dahil.
Kanan na ka.
Kulang nga din.
Sir?
Kulang nga din.
Ah.
Wala na? Wala na? Wala na question?
Wala na, sir.
Okay. Wala na. Documentation?
Percent.
Sige. Okay, thank you. Let us proceed for the second private conference for number 25 agency 0063. construction of school health facilities in Agusan del Sur. We proceed as
Excuse me, Sir Chair.
excuse me.
Thank you.
Thank you for attendance, ha?
Thank you. Ma'am, sir, thank you.
Finish yours, ha? Good there. What code? Okay, na si Juan? School health, sir. Okay. Let us proceed now for the private clearance for contract ID number 25-063. Construction of school health facilities at Agusan del Sur National High School, High School Agusan del Sur. For budget, the plan is 3,180,000 pesos only. The contract duration is 150 calendars. Proceed for the presentation of this contract ID number.
Our next project is the construction of school health facilities at Agusan del Sur National High School, San Francisco, Agusan del Sur. Project description: construction of water pumping system with 2 units elevated reinforced concrete water tanks and cistern tanks with appropriation amount of 3,990,000, ABC amount of 3,980,000 with a total calendar days of 150. Classification under priority school health facilities. Source of funds DEFF FY 2025. This is the geotal photo of the location map. So the first elevated tank and cistern tank is located doon siya sa gymnasium sa Agusan High. And then ang second location is naasa sa likod sa 3-story school building. This is the geotal photo. Ano siya tong sa likod sa 3-story na school building. This is the perspective. Ano siya ang sa elevated water tank. And then system. So for the foundation plan sa elevated water tank, natay unong kabuok na foundation. Mani siya ang details for the bottom kining part, diagonal siya. Mani siya sa middle and then mani siya sa top. It is 2.2 meters by 2.2 meters and reinforced with 12 pieces na 16 mm diameter bed bars, each direction equal space as shown. Ang thickness ato ang foundation is 400. And then for the columns, 8 pieces na 20 mm diameter vertical reinforcing bars with 2 na 10 mm diameter lateral ties spaced 1 at 50 mm, 9 at 10 mm, and the rest 150 mm. And then sa mami siya ang yung typical column elevation details, naka-incline niya siya of approximately around 4 degrees. This is the tie beam layout plan. So sa tie beam, nag-flooring ta at ground elevation. 100 mm thick concrete slab on field with 10 mm diameter matting bars spaced at 600 mm from centers. Sa footing tie beam, 250 width and then depth and height niya 400. Reinforced with 3 16 mm diameters for top bars and then 3 16 mm diameters for bottom bars. And then reinforced. This one is for the beam 1 layout plan. Same dimension and same reinforcement. This one is for beam 2 layout plan. And then for the beam 3, 250 mm for width, for the depth 400, and then for the top bars 516 mm diameters, and then for the bottom bars 516 mm diameters. This is the section details for the water tank. For the bottom slab reinforcement, reinforced with 10 mm diameter bottom bars spaced at 150 mm on centers both ways. And then sa top bar sa bottom slab, 10 mm diameter stop bars spaced at 300 mm on center both ways. For the top slab, both for the bottom reinforcement and top reinforcement, same lang sila, 10 mm diameter bottom bars spaced at 300 mm on center both ways. Sa side reinforcement, nakatay 10 mm diameter horizontal bars is spaced at 250, and sa horizontal, sa vertical, 10 mm diameter bars spaced at 250. Details for the pipe stand pedestal detail, natay foundation as 800 by 800, and then yung thickness is 200. Reinforced with 5 pieces na 12 mm diameter bottom bars. And then for the pedestal reinforcement, 4 pieces na 12 mm vertical reinforcing bars with 1 10 mm diameter lateral ties is spaced at 1 50 mm, 50 mm, 5 100 mm, and rest at 150 mm. So sa ito ang mani siya tong na may gap between 3-story school buildings, so around po niya sa mga 11 to 12 meters. So need siya og pipe stand para mo carry sa ito ang pipe na mapagod. So mani siya ang iyang sa zato ang irrigated water tank na siya ay naka-enclose ng safety para sa mukatkat sa ibabaw. This is 4 mm by 25 mm steel flat bar vertical, fully welded to steel cage frame. Tapos para naman sa ladder, 38 mm diameter GI pipe for steel cage frame support. Welded siya to RC beam and weld 2 bars for anchorage. And siya yung section. And for the details for the manholes above, we are using 8 mm thick checker plate cover with heavy duty na mga hinges, and then for the water pump, from the pipe to water source, nagamit ako 65 mm diameter GI pipe. And then submersible pump, 5 HP submersible multi-stage deep well pump, including wirings, control, and all necessary accessories. The next one is the details para sa katong clamp. Katong sa ato ang distribution ay para sa ato ang supply patapasakan na atay clamp diri na side board and then diri na side. So kini siya yung details. Kini. Details for the pipe. Kini siya ang details for the cistern. Naatay 2.5 by 4.4 ang dimensions sa itong cistern. Yung depth is nasa 2 meters. And then sa bottom, it was reinforced with 216 mm diameter bottom bars spaced at 0.25 mm. And then sa sidebars, 2 12 mm diameter temperature bars is spaced at 0.20 both ways. For the top bars, 12 mm space. .4 meters na length sa nakatay beam diri concrete beam support sa tanga as well as kining beam diri sa tulang. Mani siya ang dictates para sa
Service provider niya, ang DCC rules. Sa service provider.
So for the bill of quantities, for other general requirements, permits and clearances, 1 lump sum, project billboard, signboard to each, occupational safety and health, 1 lump sum, mobilization and demobilization, 1 lump sum. For the earthworks, removal of structures and obstruction, 1 lump sum, structure excavation for common soil, 98.25 cubic meters. For the embankment from structure excavation, 65 cubic meters. For the gravel field, 10 cubic meters. For the reinforced concrete, for the item 901C, structural concrete, 3,000 PSI Class A, 28 days, 64.05 cubic meters. For the reinforcing steel, deformed, grade 40, 8,395.88 kilograms. For the formworks and falseworks, 459.15 square meters. Under finishing and civil works, for the cistern, 2 units station cistern, 1 lump sum. For the finishing hardwares, 1 lump sum. For the waterproofing, cement base, for the record, ang waterproofing ani is both sa sulod and sa gawas sa itong elevated water tank as well as sa itong cistern. Total of 134.24 square meters. And then for the cement cluster finish, 393.59 square meters. For painting works, for steel, 33 square meters. For masonry works, 100 mm CHB non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 10.25 square meters. And then for roof framing and roofing works, sa ano ba niya siya? Sa katong bolts and rods, steel plates, and this is structural steel. For the bolts and rods, 78.31 kilograms. For the steel plates, 688.99 kilograms. For structural steel, 454.25 kilograms. And then for electrical, conduits, boxes, and fittings, 1 lump sum, 5.5 square millimeters na electrical wire stranded, 15 meters. And then for 14 square millimeters, electrical wire stranded, 80 meters. For wires and wiring devices, 1 lump sum, panel board with main and branch breakers, 1 lump sum. And for the water pumping system, 2 units na siya na submersible pump, 1 lump sum. These are the minimum equipment requirements. Plate compactor, 1 unit, concrete vibrator, 1 bagger mixer, 1 unit, bar cutter, bar bender, and then welding machine, 2 units, cutting outfit, 1 unit, backhoe, then jump truck, 1 unit, transit mixer and pump crate, 1 unit. I don't have any comments or suggestions, clarifications.
Sir, regarding na sa seeing sa concert mo, sa technical and financial, sir, pila ka copy sa technical and financial? Nakapost na lang siya sa BDS, sa BDOCS.
Sa video.
Nasa sa BDOCS, sir.
Palit yung kumpleto.
I mean, kanang pila ka copy siya, sir.
Nung tanong, isa. Kaya.
Sa standard sir, pulo mo ginagawa.
Oo, copy wala. Original copy wala to.
Pero wala man sa
Isa lang.
original.
Pag during bidding, sir, or
Oo,
during
original.
bidding ko lang. Pwede mo sila copy one to ng daan, sir, or?
Depende sa inyo, basta okay lang kung
Isa lang.
original.
Isa lang kayo.
Original na yung pwede.
Okay,
Ang
so
ang
sir sa
attach nato po submission nato sa COA that is signed by the bank members, no? So i-xerox na mo po yung i-copy. Kung other copy, wala yung signature sa bank members.
Sorry mo sir sa book 1 pagka nangingan yung implement ni ano yung sa region kasi original lang sa district sa Tapad kapiwan ko na lang madaan so mo kung klaro na ako sir para di na yung balik
Ano may Xerox na kayo? Ano yung pin mo na sa buwan?
sa back sir ay sir ikapag sa COA
Oo.
so bali pwede naman yung original sir parang
Organic.
pag-check niyo sa back original yung photocopy ng kamo yung photocopy sa COA. Thank you sir. Ang opening of bid sir, dali lang sir na gihapon.
Yes,
Ano ba yun eh? Schedule.
Presented. Na may
Ano ba yun eh?
Present.
Pwede i-present sa
18 na to?
i-present siya parang after.
Sige.
Okay, okay sir.
Sige. Ano na ilay ko ka na?
Wala sir, mga to.
Sige, present sa lugar.
Yan ang pagkakas. Change. Good morning, everyone. For the documents for this project, invitation to $980,000 being the total approved budget for the contract or the ABC to payments under the following project. For contract ID 25NC0063, contract name, construction of school health facilities, Agusan del Sur, National Sur, with an ABC of 3.980 million. Scope of works, construction of water pumping system with 2 units elevated reinforced concrete water tank and cistern tank. Calendar days to complete 150. Bid documents fee of 5,000. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. Prospective bidders should be 1 registered bid and classified by the pickup with pickup license size range of at least small b. Contractors or applicants who wish to participate in this bidding are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Works application or the CWA at the DPWH Procurement Service, 5th floor DPWH building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila, while those already enrolled shall keep the records current and updated. The contractor's eligibility to bid on the project will be determined using the DPWH Contractor Profile Eligibility Process or the CPEP and subject to further post-qualification. Information on registration can be obtained from the PRS during morning working weekdays from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. or at the DPWH website www.dpwh.gov.ph. A complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders from the address below or may be downloaded free of charge from the website of the Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System or the PhilGIPS and the website of the procuring entity starting on November 28, 2025 and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB. In the amount above stated, the procuring entity shall allow the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees in person, by facsimile or through electronic means. The DPWH will hold a private conference on December 5, 2025 today at exactly 10 a.m. at the Procurement Conference Room, DPWH Agusan del Sur, 2nd DEO, Karaos, San Francisco, Agusan del Sur, and through Zoom meeting flash on the screen together with the password. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the bid data sheet. Bids must be duly received by the box secretariat at the address below for manual submission or at electronic bids Agusan del Sur 2 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission on or before December 18, 2025 at or before 1 o'clock p.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in the invitation to bid clause 15. Bid opening shall be on December 18, 2025, immediately after the deadline for the submission of bid at the Procurement Conference Room, DPWH Agusan del Sur, 2nd DEO, Karaos, San Francisco, Agusan del Sur, and Livestream on YouTube. Bids must be opened. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representative who choose to attend at the address below. For the instruction to bidders, the bid and bid security shall be valid for 120 days from the date set for opening of bid. Any bid not accompanied by any acceptable bid security shall be rejected by the procuring entity as non-responsive. For the bid data sheet, for this contract ID, the major categories of works, category of work code, WSL 2 and 3, work description, water supply, level 2 and 3, construction, pipe, water with communal/private water point. For the pickup license requirements, size print, small d, license category C and D, largest single project, 1,990,000 or 50% of the ABC. Allowable range of contract cost up to 30 million. For the K personnel, must meet the required minimum years of experience. For the general and relevant experience must be 2 years for PM, PE, ME, fireman, and construction safety and health officer. The bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. A, the amount of not less than 79,600 pesos or 2% of the ABC if bid security is in cash or in check. B, the amount of not less than 199,000 or 5% of the ABC if bid security is in surety bond. Again, the deadline for receipt of bids is on December 18, 2025 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. For further information, you may refer to our BAC Chairperson, Engineer Wilfred R. Visaya, and our BAC Secretariat Head, Engineer Telma S. Espeso. That's all for the bidding documents for this contract item. Basta pa itong isa din? Napaday na isa dito. Percent. Naka-open na.
Nasa browser.
Buffer. Kini din? Let me read to you memorandum dated November 27, 2025. Memorandum to District Engineers and Division Chief, this region, Paraga region. Attention, all bids and awards committee members. Subject, submission of general information sheet with beneficial ownership details and affidavit of eligibility in bidding documents. This refer to Secretary Vivencio B. Dizon, letter dated November 19, 2025, directing the mandatory inclusion of documents under invitation to bid clause instruction to bid, clause 12.1H, on project requirements in compliance with Section 82 of the IRR of Republic Act 12009, the new Government Procurement Act, regarding the declaration of beneficial ownership. All concerned and are instructed to ensure that the following documents are included in the issued bidding documents and required from all participating bidders. First, the latest General Information Sheet or the GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information, BOI, duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission or the SEC for corporations. Number 2, and sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership, following the template attached as Annex A for all bidders, including sole proprietorship. Signed by our Assistant Regional Director, Atela S. Parr. Ito na. That's all for the additional.
Ay, itong sa ceiling, sir, expanded niya po niya din, sir, niya, envelope niya sa sulod.
Seal.
Sa ceiling, sa expanded, no?
Pwede nga.
It's gonna be generated.
Originated siya sa ma'am. Page 1, front page, originated siya dahil. Ang yung checklist mo, nalaman sa DDoS mo, no?
Yes.
Mga to, sir, eh. Kasi barihan din sa region sila. Sa region mo din, iwan sa expanded, and below ko lang ito. Expanded dire sir dire.
Isang
Isang technical officer sa expanded. Thank you sir. Thank you. God bless.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation for the